There is no other way to say this. Instead, just very matter of fact. We have the dumbest administration this country has ever seen. And the video evidence as to the incompetence and abject ignorance and stupidity is rolling out on full display. Kylie, play the first clip.
Big bureaucracy where there has been tremendous waste and fraud and abuse. In that process, we identified and stopped $50 million being sent to Gaza to buy condoms for Hamas. 50 million. And you know what's happened to them? They've used them as a method of making bombs. How about that?
Okay, number one, he looks terrible.
Terrible.
Number two, why are people not intervening? That is so insane. Number one, that is not true. The United States is not sending condoms to Gaza, and then Hamas is not making bombs with those condoms. This is insane. This is conspiracy theory bullshit. And what I cannot wrap my head around is that people hear this and they don't have enough critical thinking skills to go, something doesn't sound right about that.
Well, okay, a couple of things. Number one, it doesn't surprise me that people don't have the critical thinking skills, because he's going right to the evangelical base with, oh my gosh, it's sex.
Terrorist sex.
Terrorist sex. Oh my gosh, what could be worse?
Right.
Here's my thing. And I said it when he did the Laura Loomer eating the dogs, eating the cats. Number one, who thought of this? Who thought, I know what we'll lie about today, condoms in Gaza.
Let me tell you what happened. Is
Okay.
You got the Doge bros reading spreadsheets, okay? And there were condoms that were allocated to be sent as AIDS prevention in Africa. And they just are scanning through. You have a bunch of novices who have zero experience. And then it's just this knee-jerk reaction. Oh my God, we're sending condoms to terrorists and they're making bombs with them. And then they just tell Trump, and he marches right out to the cameras and delivers it with zero vetting whatsoever.
And that's my second point on this whole thing. Like, you are the president of the United States of America. You have a staff that has unlimited resources to fact check what you're saying, which I know he hates fact check. But before you go out and say something so patently false and stupid, have somebody review it. But it goes back to, there's nobody around him with any sense. They're a bunch of incompetent dipshit. It is a clown car full of dipshits. And this is the perfect example. And I too want to make a comment on his appearance. He is the president of the free world for now. It's free. Get a makeup artist that's decent. Don't go to the beauty college in Topeka to get your beauty person. Get a real makeup artist. Do something about your appearance, because you look like a clown.
Well, and outside of that, he's really aged. I mean, you really see like, wow, like Papa needs to be put in the home. Like, that's the vibe that I get from that. But you talk about the clown car, you talk about him being surrounded by utterly incompetent, breathtaking, incompetent people. Take a look at this video.
In New York City this morning, we are getting the dirt bags off these streets.
Okay, I want to review this. Kristi Noem goes and gets extensions in.
Yeah.
She gets a blow dry. She puts on a full face of makeup. She puts on a police ice costume. And then she says, we're going to go get these dirt bags off the streets. Also, at the exact same time that she's doing all this, I want you to know that she has canceled some programs because they weren't promoting Jesus. So this is what we have to talk about. She just called immigrants dirtbags. Mm-hmm. And then also she's canceling government programs that aren't promoting Jesus. And so this is like the epicenter of MAGA insanity, where it's like, we hate all the same people, but we hate for Jesus. And it is a cult. This woman is a lunatic. She is cosplaying as a police ICE agent. This is comical. If another country were doing this shit, if you saw a video like this come out of Russia or China 10 years ago, you would think, I'm so glad that I'm an American and that our leaders take their job seriously. That's what everybody's saying now. All the French people are saying, thank God I'm French. The Canadians are saying, thank God I'm Canadian, because we have literal buffoons cosplaying being in charge of the most powerful country on the planet.
Have you ever seen in your entire life any secretary of any agency don a bulletproof vest in a full face of makeup and fresh hair extensions to go in on any type of ground operation? In my 55 almost years, I've never seen that. And the fact that she is so made up and dolled up, this was not, I'm working on behalf of the United States as the Secretary of Homeland Security. It was, I'm going to look so pretty in my photo op today. I'm going to kill that hat and that bulletproof vest. I'm going to look tough. And you're exactly right. She is cosplaying law enforcement. It's buffoonery. Just the whole thing is just a buffoon show.
Okay, next up, we have the Trump administration, as you know, tried to this week dismantle funding for the federal government. And it was an embarrassing, misstep after misstep of incompetent morons. And one of the leaders of this is the 26, 27-year-old press secretary of Donald Trump's. And here she is yesterday announcing that they want to defund public education.
He also will sign executive orders addressing school choice, ending funding for public schools that support critical race theory and other divisive measures in their curriculums. And
okay, I want to point out for everybody in the back, the people that think about trans people, drag queens, DEI, and all of critical race theory. If you're on the left and you're progressive, you're just thinking about equality. You're thinking about everybody getting a fair shake. If you're on the right, you already have, like, you've started the 100-yard dash on the 10, 20-yard line. You already are DEI hires, basically, that gal is. And it's amazing to me that they want to dismantle everything that they deem not the same way they want their worldview to be. Like the trans people, less than 1% of the military. This administration gets in and wants to make their lives as miserable as fucking possible. When the electorate was like, hey, inflation and the border and yak, yak, blah, blah. My experience is, as somebody that's on the left, the people that I hear speaking about gay sex, trans people, drag queens, DEI, all of these things, the people I hear speaking about it the most are the people on the right. They're consumed with it. If you're on the left, you're like, yes, let's not have regressive policies. Let's try to expand rights for everybody so that we make a more just world. And it's a very simple argument. But on the right, they've completely dismantled all of it. And now they want to dismantle public education.
Well, of course they do, because Trump said it best. Low educated voters. Poorly educated voters are his voting blocks. But you see this in Florida with DeSantis. They want to whitewash history. They're so scared that if people actually find out the true history, it might change their views. They might develop critical thinking. In my opinion, all this stuff is nothing short of just straight up white supremacy, full stop. I find it so grotesque. Everyone who's Black, a DEI hire. They were saying Lloyd Austin was a DEI hire, while the alleged alcoholic Fox News host is now the defense secretary. Alina Habba took jabs at Karine Jean-Pierre, saying she was a DEI hire. It's gross. It is racist. It is disgusting. And they want people dumb that cannot critically think for themselves. So just like you said, to stay in line with their worldview, find a common enemy and jump on it.
Yeah, and they scapegoat, what they do is they need to fleece off the working class.
Mhm.
And so instead of exposing like, oh, you're the target, they brilliantly scapegoat and say, look at these immigrants, look at these trans people, look at these drag queens, look at the quote unquote rainbow mafia. They're the ones preventing you from being rich and realizing the American dream. Meanwhile, the communicator of that message is the one preventing it. And the Democrats have got to start exposing who the problem is. And in order to do that, they're going to have to unbed big pharma, big oil, and otherwise democracy is going to be lost. So the Democrats have some culpability in placating to corporate America. And I think in order for us to come out of all of this, the Democrats have to atone for that and have to start exposing who the real enemy of working class people are here. And it is the shareholders of these huge corporations that want to sit in Donald Trump's lap and want zero consumer protections so that they can buy bigger yachts and have bigger private airplanes. Okay, guys, we'll see you all tomorrow.